Hello and welcome to Newsroom. I'm Jawad Tehami and we'll move on with today's show. We've got two important developments for discussion in this particular episode. The first relates to the situation in Afghanistan, and the neighboring countries of Afghanistan mechanism meeting was held in Samarkand in Uzbekistan also, and also the Quadrilateral Group on Afghanistan held a meeting in Samarkand on the sidelines of the mechanism also. Now, a high-level delegation, which is led by State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ms. Hina Rabbani Kar, is there, and Ms. Hina Rabbani Kar addressed and spoke about the situation in Afghanistan, has also underscored the importance of coordinated regional approach for promoting peace and stability in Afghanistan. We'll be talking about this particular thing in the first segment. Regarding the first segment, our production team has prepared a report. Let's watch that first.
A peaceful neighborhood remains the strategic imperative for Pakistan and Afghanistan, where its location as a bridge between Central and South Asia is central towards achieving the full potential of socio-economic development and regional connectivity. Pakistan has repeatedly urged the world to engage with Afghan Taliban government and lift economic restrictions to help millions of Afghans who are living in deplorable conditions, often described by the United Nations as a humanitarian crisis. The Quadrilateral Group on Afghanistan, that includes Pakistan, Iran, Russia and China, met in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, on the sidelines of ministerial meeting of the neighbors of Afghanistan. Leading Pakistani side, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Hina Rabbani Kar underscored the importance for a coordinated regional approach to promote peace and stability in Afghanistan. Amid a catastrophic humanitarian situation in which 2/3 of Afghanistan's population, 28 million people, need humanitarian assistance to survive and 20 million people are experiencing crisis levels of food insecurity, there is no progress towards provision of fundamental rights. Pakistan has been asserting to the need for practical engagement with Afghanistan's Taliban, but ruled out formal recognition of incumbent Afghan government until they address international concerns over women's rights, inclusive governance, and fulfill their obligations about combating terrorism.
The State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ms. Hina Rabbani Kar, has also underscored the importance of broader engagement with the interim Afghan authorities. Let me bring in my guest on this particular important issue. We are honored to have been joined in the studio by Mr. Khalid Taimur Akram. He is Executive Director, Pakistan Research Center for Community with a Shared Future. Mr. Khalid, thank you very much for being with us on Newsroom tonight. We really appreciate your time. How crucial do you think is the coordinated regional approach for promoting peace and stability in Afghanistan?
First of all, thank you very much. Yes, this is a very important topic, and we have seen that post 15th August 2021, the onus of regional peace and the onus of stability in Afghanistan has come on the shoulders of the neighboring and regional countries. In this connection, we have seen Pakistan has taken lots of initiatives, and Pakistan got together all the stakeholders, and we had a OIC conference in Islamabad on the Afghan situation. Side by side, we have seen our brothers in Uzbekistan. The President of Uzbekistan, His Excellency Shavkat Mirziyoyev, he was also very keen in solving the Afghan problems and issues, and he also initiated this quadrilateral platform in which the Uzbek government gathered the Uzbekistan, China, Iran, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan and Turkmenistan. Out of these countries, except for Russia, almost all the countries have borders with Afghanistan, and of course Russia is a major stakeholder in the region. So this platform was created immediately after American and NATO withdrawal from Afghanistan, and we just saw the fourth meeting of this platform, the fourth ministerial meeting of this platform on 13th August and on 13th April. So the background of this meeting is this, that the Afghan situation, especially on the diplomatic front, is getting on stalemate on the international platform.
Mr. Khalid, as you have already mentioned, that this particular mechanism was initiated back right after the international troops withdrawal. What has been achieved? 4 meetings of this particular mechanism have happened so far. What substantial things do you think have been achieved so far in this?
I think this platform has achieved many things. One, they have been able to bring Afghanistan on the table. Afghan foreign minister was also included in this meeting, and Afghanistan is now talking to all the neighboring countries. And also post US withdrawal, we have seen the regional trade increasing, because Afghanistan has become now a hub of the regional trade, especially between South and Central Asian connectivity. And we have seen trade coming from Tajikistan to Pakistan via Afghanistan. We are seeing trade coming from Uzbekistan to Pakistan via Afghanistan. So the first what is achieved, the achievement of this platform is bringing Afghanistan on the table, talking to them on various issues, including terrorism, including trade, including the human rights issues in Afghanistan. Trade, as we have seen, already started, and if you see the UN statistics, the UN itself has pointed out that Afghans in the first year of their rule has earned more than 1.5 billion US dollar through transit trade, and this transit trade was between the countries neighboring Afghanistan. They used the Afghan soil for it. Another thing is this, that these countries are constantly talking to Afghanistan for stopping the terrorists fleeing.
That's exactly the point. How crucial is peace and stability and security in Afghanistan for this particular benefit to happen, especially to the Afghan people and to the region overall?
Yes, that was what I was telling you, that these countries, all neighboring countries are equally affected. And we feel that Afghan government has to control the terrorism flow from the Afghan soil to the other countries. We have seen in Pakistan, especially in last few months, we have seen quite an inflow of terrorism from Afghanistan side. We have also seen the fence which was laid with lot of price was being cut by the terrorists at few places. So these are the points which were talked in this meeting.
So how do you think the Afghan authorities can ensure, because there has been again an emphasis by these regional countries during this mechanism, that the Afghan authorities, which are led by the Taliban, of course, they have to take concrete measures so that the Afghan soil is not particularly used against any neighboring country, and it doesn't become a ground for harboring terrorism and facilitation of the terrorists?
Yes, if we see the press release which was issued by this after this conference, it clearly says that the importance of strengthening measures of Afghanistan, neighboring countries to combat international terrorism, drug production and smuggling was talked about. So the Afghans were clearly told in this meeting that these three things have to be stopped. Afghan government needs to take concrete steps to stop the drug production in their country, to stop the smuggling. We have seen many goods being smuggled from Pakistan to Afghanistan. Similarly, from Central Asia to Afghanistan, the smuggling is very normal. So the Afghan government need to take concrete steps for that. And the most important thing is the Afghan government needs to control the terrorist organization, which we have seen.
These are two different things on two different dimensions, stopping the smuggling and also dealing with that terrorism threat that is emanating from the Afghan soil. So specifically talking about the first thing that you've just mentioned, curbing smuggling, do you think the Afghan authorities, the Taliban in particular, have got that very capacity to curtail that?
No, at present Afghan government does not have any of these capacities, especially to maintain law and order, because these Taliban in last 20 years they have been fighting with Americans, but although they are jihadists or they call themselves soldiers, but they are not trained people. They are not trained to curb smuggling. They are not trained to curb drug production. They are not trained to curb terrorism. They are not trained to get all kinds of intelligence gathering. So yes, again, as I said, the onus of Afghanistan is now on the regional countries. So many regional countries...
But they were very much desirous of taking over the power.
Yeah,
after
they
the
were.
International troops withdrawal.
Yes, they were.
So, but if they didn't
because
have the capacity, so why they were so much eager to take over the power?
Yes, they were very eager because they thought, and their theme was that Afghanistan was occupied by foreign forces. So, and they liberated Afghanistan from the foreign forces. But practically speaking, they did not had any backup plan that what they are going to do after taking power. They did not had the finance planning, they did not had the military planning, they did not had that how to control the law and order. And on 15th August 2021, I consider it as a unique day in the modern day history in which the complete Afghan system collapsed. Their military people, they ran away. Their police people, they ran away. On 16th August 2021, there was no military in Afghanistan. There was no police in Afghanistan. We could see on social media videos that people are playing with helicopters. They are playing with the fighter jets. The children are using helicopters and fighter jets as their playground area.
So what needs to be done?
Capacity
does it call
building.
for capacity building?
Yes.
How would that be done?
Capacity building can be done. First, it is the will of the Afghan government. It is the will of the Afghan people that till what extent they want to cooperate with the regional countries. Up till now, we have seen that they have shown very limited cooperation towards Pakistan and towards the regional
Why
countries.
is that so? Because given the limited resources over there and the kind of situation Afghanistan is faced with right now, the dire humanitarian and the economic crisis, why don't the regional countries see that sort of cooperation coming from the Afghan authorities?
It has many reasons. The first reason is this, that the Afghan government is waiting since last 1 year plus that international community and United Nations will legitimize their government. That has not been done. The frustration within the Afghan government is increasing on that. And at the same time, Afghan government expected that the regional countries will accept them and will develop that kind of international mechanism with them. But they do not realize one thing, that all the regional countries are, again, they all are working under the framework of United Nations. So whatever has to be done with consensus in United Nations, and only then it can be implemented.
So do you think they expecting that recognition coming from regional countries or from the United Nations, that legitimacy, despite they violating their promises that they made, especially in the Doha peace deal?
The Doha peace deal is nowhere, because the other party which made the Doha peace deal was not made by the regional countries. It was made basically by the Americans and by the Afghans. But we have seen that Doha peace deal is nowhere now, because the Americans have practically backed out of it, because they are nowhere to be seen. So a Doha peace deal cannot be applicable on the regional countries.
But it was through that deal the Taliban acquired power over there.
Yes,
Isn't
they
that
acquired,
so?
but let's see what happened on the other side. The Americans did not fulfill their part, whatever their part was. The Taliban government, they came to power, their assets and their reserves are frozen in USA. So clapping has to be done with both hands. So Afghan Taliban, they also did not fulfill their promises, and the Americans, they also did not fulfill their promises. And eventually, who is in the problem? All the neighboring countries and regional countries, we are in problems. And in this problematic thing, two countries have taken extreme initiatives. One is Pakistan and second is Uzbekistan. Pakistan gathered all the Muslim Ummah countries under OIC, and basically in that conference Pakistan gave out the viewpoint of Afghans. Similarly, Uzbekistan has gathered all the regional countries, and they are gathering again and again. They are doing these gatherings in Uzbekistan just to solve these issues, just to gather these issues. Just yesterday I was seeing the speech of our State Minister, Ms. Hina Rabbani Khar. She made an excellent speech over there. She told the Afghan foreign minister that you need to improve human rights, you need to send your girls to schools. Only then we can fight your case at the international community.
How do you think it's going to be detrimental? How detrimental it is going to be for the common Afghan people, since the United Nations has announced that they are forced to take that, make that appalling choice whether to continue operations in Afghanistan or not?
You know, it is going to be very, very detrimental, because right now Afghans do not have any banking system. They do not have any proper office mechanism, they do not have any proper economic system, they do not have any financial system. The Afghan passport is like a banana republic passport. It is not practically acceptable in many parts of the world. The Afghan diplomatic missions, they are nowhere to be seen. So right now, as per UN Charter and everything, there is no government in Afghanistan. It is just a piece of land. For them it is, but for us they are our brothers. We need to find a solution for them. We need to make them sit with us. We need to understand them, and we need to make them understand the international community compulsions, and we need to make them this understand that all the regional countries can only help you once you fulfill the promises which you have been making.
So what about asking them to do some concrete action against the banned Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan when it comes to terrorism emanating from the Afghan soil and a number of attacks that have increased in the recent past in Pakistan? This
is a major point of concern for Pakistan, because we have seen that in last 1 year, Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan has again started their terrorist activities in Pakistan, and unfortunately the weapons and the equipment which they are using in these terrorist activities are the same one which the Americans have left behind in Afghanistan. So it means that equipment, that weapons which was 2 years back was being used by the Afghan military, now that is in the hands of the terrorists. So it means that the Afghan government system is very loose. They do not have any kind of accountability for theft or if somebody is selling these to terrorists. So they need to, the Afghan government needs to look inwards. They need to enhance their capacity building, and all the regional countries, they have pledged with Afghans that we are ready to help you in your capacity building, but provided you should show willingness and resolve. Willingness is one thing and resolve is another thing. So they need to not only show willingness and resolve, but then they need to implement it also.
Right. Mr. Khalid Taimur Akram, Executive Director, Pakistan Research Center for Community with a Shared Future. Thank you very much for your time, for being with us on Newsroom tonight. We really appreciate that. With that, we come to the end of today's Newsroom. Till the next one, take good care of yourselves.